We decided to go on a day trip to Alton Towers. There was me, my brother Paul, my mum, my dad, and my best mate Mark. I don't want to sit in the middle because it's more uncomfortable, obviously, than sitting at the side. In the end, Mum told me to sit in the middle and stop being so stupid. I remember like being on the road looking at some trees, and then I just blanked out. I lost it all. And you sort of come to, and your ears are ringing for the shock, and then I realised, I sort of can't feel my legs,
This lap belt, standard in most family cars, only restrained Peter Elliston across his waist. The crash in 1991 left him paralysed for life. The two boys sitting either side, wearing diagonal belts restraining their whole bodies, escaped unhurt.
The next vague memory from that is actually seeing my doctor and asking him whether I would walk again. And, his face drops a bit and he sort of says there's always hope, as they do. But, I knew from then on I probably wouldn't walk again.
The lap strap has caused this serious damage in Peter, as if it has cut him into two halves, really. Broke the spine. This, unfortunately, damaged the spinal cord, which caused the paralysis. It has damaged his abdominal wall. It has damaged his duodenum, the small bowel, and also the transverse colon.
This has really messed my life right up, I'm not going to walk again. I'm not going to be able to play football, rugby, and everything else. So I decided that there was no point in me carrying on living. That was what, it seemed so daunting, to actually go through all this rehabilitation and start to do everything that I did before again. It was actually the fact that all my family were around me. And I think that was the one thing that changed my mind, I've got something to live for.
I feel very bitter at times. I never realised before the accident what that belt could do. Had I known, we wouldn't have allowed anybody to use it. As a mother, I do wonder if once you know what that lap belt can do, and you've got 3 children you're taking out in the back of your car, which one do you choose to put in that car, in that lap belt? Because you're actually having to choose that which one of your children could land up with horrific injuries and land up in a wheelchair. The more people that know about it, the more people that question it, then our ultimate aim is to get all the manufacturers to put 3-point belts in the middle of all cars.
Three years earlier, in America, the Institute for Injury Reduction ran tests on both lap and diagonal belts. Their research shows that the 2-point lap belt allows passengers to flip forward and risk severe spinal injuries. 16-year-old Peter is hoping the research done in America will help him sue Ford over the design of their rear seat belts. He's already been granted legal aid to pursue his test case.
For a serious spinal injury like this, we should be looking for an award of over £1 million. We hope that manufacturers will take on board the lesson that if they do not design vehicles as safely as they could, then the lawyers will be after them, so that victims are compensated, and in the long run, so that people do not have to suffer the way in which the Elliston family have had to do so and will continue to do so for the rest of Peter's days.
A legal precedent has already been set in America. In a recent test case, a boy who suffered similar injuries to Peter whilst wearing a lap seatbelt successfully sued Ford for over $3 million.
My main aim is to get more people aware, even if I just stop sort of one child or one person from sitting in that lap belt and sort of saving them from going through what I've done, then my entire court case has done what I wanted it to do.
No car sold in Britain, except a few executive Volvos, has 3-point diagonal belts in all the rear seats.
We're very concerned about lap seat belts in the centre position in the rear of cars. We'd like to see them done away with. We'd certainly like to see 3-point belts. It's technically possible, and we'd like to see them introduced as soon as possible. If you've got a lap seat belt or a 2-point belt in the centre rear, as most cars do have these days, there's a number of things you can do. You can avoid using it if the other seat belts are free, so always use those in preference to this belt. If you do have to use this belt, make sure it's as low down as on your hips as possible. Never let it ride up over the stomach, and try and keep it nice and tight just below your hips. So they're less good than 3-point belts, but they're better than nothing.
If I win, it will be a lot of money. I mean, more than a lot of people will earn in their lifetime.
Not a good idea.
No, not a good
I would rather be walking and poor than rich and in a wheelchair, you know. And some people may think that's foolish, but that's the way I think, you know. Money could not give me back what I've lost, you know.